Hello, my name's Tricia Cumming and I joined the local crisis food bank charity Up Stirling in July 2018 as the volunteer and training coordinator, thanks to the funding provided through impact funding partners. When I came into post, my role focused on the development of a more diverse pool of volunteers. But in March 2020, COVID-19 came along and everything changed dramatically. It became apparent that if the charity was going to be able to maintain its #1 priority of continuing to provide a service for clients in hardship, we had to move fast to change our existing model of working. This complete shift is something that in normal times we would have not considered possible. But we did achieve it thanks to the flexibility of our volunteers and their willingness to adapt and continue to volunteer during a pandemic. The trustees, my colleagues and I are both very proud and grateful to them. So let me walk you through our lockdown diary and how we adapted our service in the first 3 months of lockdown and the vital part that the volunteers played in this process. As we had experience of operating a limited home delivery service for our most vulnerable clients, we decided to build on that framework and close the 2 on-site food banks. We felt this was the only safe way to ensure we could operate within COVID-19 restrictions. But this complete change in operating model was only going to be able to work if we could double the current pool of 12 volunteer drivers to 24. So far so good, but the government requirement asking all those over 70 to shield had a significant impact on our volunteers. Overnight, we lost 49 out of our 120 strong volunteer team, which is a big amount. But it wasn't all doom and gloom, because we were receiving many requests from the local community to volunteer, as people had been asked to go on furlough. We also had many students at the university offering their time. So we drew up a database and contacted the first 48. We invited them into the unit for an abbreviated volunteer and induction training and health and safety. Within just 2 weeks, we had 48 volunteers trained up and ready to take on their new roles. Now, if you told me that was part of my job spec when I first joined, I think I would have run away. These are new emergency volunteers, along with our existing volunteers who were able to stay with us, were given new operating procedures, setting out how all the future volunteering would be carried out in a way that was compliant with COVID-19 requirements. We had to set out different work areas to ensure 2-metre social distancing. And we had to draw up rotas to ensure that there weren't too many people in any one space at the same time. Rotas are still in operation some 11 months later, and our keeping volunteers safe COVID-19 procedures are continually updated and reviewed to ensure that both staff and volunteers are kept as safe as possible in these challenging times. Discussions took place with the council, and they offered us 2 additional vans and drivers, which enabled us to increase the amount of home deliveries from what we were doing, which was on average 30 a week, to 25 a day, which was a massive jump. We also forged an effective working partnership with Dial a Journey, a local community transport charity. Now, it's only when we look back on these first 3 months of lockdown and review the statistics that we see the significant part that our volunteers played in being able to implement this new model, and all at the same time as we saw a huge increase in demand, which the following slide shows. Just like other food banks, we saw a big increase, and from March to May 2020 we supported 1,099 individuals, which was a very large 74% increase on the same period in 2019. We also processed 589 referrals, a 69% increase. And with the help of the volunteers, we provided over 41,000 meals, an increase of 62% on 2019. And this increase in demand was all managed at the same time as the integration of these new emergency volunteers and the setting up of a second venue for dating and sorting donations. We also felt it was important to maintain regular contact with our shielding volunteers, and we did this through our volunteer newsletters and through many phone calls. So apart from the franticness of all that needed to be done, the thing that I do remember was the fantastic support we received from the local community, and also the many humbling comments we received from our clients who told us that really we were a lifesaver for them in being able to ensure that they had food on the table to provide for their families. Now, this is only a brief outline of the key milestones, and I'm now going to ask one of our volunteers who joined us in March 2020 to tell us about his experiences. So Vinny, over to you.
Hi there, thank you. Hi there, I'm Vinny Coyle, and in March 2020 my business closed due to obviously COVID. I was then put on furlough, and then I was introduced to start Up Stirling. I then met Tricia, who took me through my interview, my initial training and my health and safety training. I then met Jerry, and Jerry took me through my work sample within the warehouse and took me through the complex just to show me what the job looked like. Since then, on speaking to people locally, I feel proud to tell them that I helped start Up Stirling, and it's very good for my own well-being and my health for the fact that I have something to do on a daily basis, and I know locally that the Start Up Stirling project is well received by a lot of people. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinny, that's great. And thank you everyone for listening.
Welcome to the Wee Museum of Memory at Ocean Terminal Shopping Centre. This is where the Living Memory Association live. We are an Edinburgh-based reminiscence project established in 1986, and this is the hands-on museum we run in the middle of this shopping centre. In normal times we have around 120 visitors a day. We run reminiscence groups, we have school visits, we run different types of workshops, and have lots of other projects using our space. We've always been a project that has been inspired and driven by an excellent team of volunteers. It's their input that has seen us grow so much over the years. Our volunteer support grant from the Scottish Government has been vital in developing and expanding our volunteer work. Younger volunteers have brought new ideas and ways of working. Projects like Canongate Youth, Citadel Youth and the Rebel Roots Fast Forward project have brought a fresh vitality to our work. As always, when young and old come together via reminiscence, we have found links and connections have been made between the generations. Our grant has seen us increase the amount of groups we can run and our support for carers. One of our volunteers is a carer to her husband, and we've introduced her to Zoom. Not only can she now keep in touch with us, but she has connected again with family and friends. And at the age of 76, she has now taken on our daily Facebook postings. 2 years ago, we began an internet radio station, Thelma FM. This has since developed into our podcasting channel, Thelma Podcasts. It's been another part of our work that volunteers have brought their enthusiasm and skills to, be it the technical side or recording their own and other people's podcasts. It's been another aspect to the training we offer too. Not only can we provide reminiscence and recording skills, but audio editing, studio and podcasting skills. Even during these extraordinary times where face-to-face working is difficult, we continue our work exploring different ways of working with reminiscence. Our volunteer support grant has been important to our development and has left us in a stronger position as we move forward. We would like to thank Scottish Government for this grant, but also impact funders who have given us so much warm and friendly support over the years. We now hear from Mark Hayward, one of our volunteers.
I came along to the Living Memory Association because I have an interest in social history. History was one of my subjects at school that I was particularly interested in, and I enjoy meeting people, interacting with them, and finding out their life stories. And that's the other plus is that we've got a great team, all get on, and that has been a great benefit in terms of working with the LMA. At the moment I'm cataloguing the vast collection, which is ever growing, of 78s for the radio station. My library experience of 20 years, which included cataloguing of books and things. My IT skills. I have to confess, I'm a bit of a technophobe, and the help from the rest of the team has been immense. The craft side of things, which has been very interesting, with due to Francis Priest's input on the various crafts people that she's brought along to the LMA, and visits to various locations within Edinburgh. I was asked to become a director of the LMA, which I was happy to do so, and I'm on the committee as well, so I have some input into what goes on. Volunteering for the LMA has meant a lot to me in terms of keeping in contact with people and the general public. I spend a lot of my time on my own otherwise, which within reason I'm quite happy. But there comes a point that you want to interact with people, and I thoroughly enjoy my input down at the LMA 3 times a week under the previous conditions before lockdown.